going out again tonight? With the prince? This is the third night in a row. I'm sure you enjoy spending time with him, but do you think spending this much time is wise? Well, the more time you spend with him, the more likely things will get out of hand.
But out, Cobalt.
Blondie, this has to be said.
This isn't any of your business. Spark, he's about to give you a birds and the bees lecture.
What are you talking about? I was about to explain that vampires have certain needs that Spark...
Stop talking, Wolfman.
As their guardian, it's my duty to talk about this.
Who do you think is more properly equipped to have this discussion? You, a werewolf, or me, a vampire?
You might have a point, but this isn't your place.
My place. I suggest you rephrase that, or my wolfman is going to turn into a Basenji. Maybe I'll like what you have to say better if you're a silent dog.
Don't encourage her, Spark. You know how ruthless she can be. I didn't mean it the way you're taking it. I meant to say, I've been Spark's guardian for a long, long time, and if someone is going to have this discussion, I think it's my responsibility.
If I thought they needed your advice, which I do not, and if they were dating someone of another species, I might agree, but they're not, so I'm taking the lead on this.
Perhaps we should discuss this all together.
You're right, Spark. It isn't any of our business. That's the great thing about families. We get all up in each other's business, whether it's our place or not.
Let's all sit down and chat while you wait for your prince to come. Did I really just say that? Spark, vampires aren't like you and me. They need blood to survive. It calls to them. If they haven't fed in a while, the scent can cause a bloodlust of sorts, a need to feed that is nearly impossible to ignore. I'm not implying he would hurt you.
It's like this. There are a couple of problems you need to know about. For starters, demon blood is poisonous to vampires. If he takes your blood, we don't know what's going to happen.
No, baby, you wouldn't hurt him, but your blood could have a reaction with his system that could give him a really bad tummy ache.
Or kill him.
Blondie!
Spark is an adult and wants to be treated as such, don't you, Spark? There's no reason for them to hide their true persona anymore. There you go.
You didn't have to say it like that.
Ignoring the overprotective demon daddy who refuses to acknowledge that you are, in fact, a fully adult, several centuries old able to defend themselves demon, we'll move on to problem 2. Or maybe it's problem 1A. When vampires are
Blondie.
intimate, the need to take blood is virtually impossible to ignore. See what happens when you try to sugarcoat it? It's best to just come out and say what you need to say. What I mean by intimate is fornicate, or copulate, or to have sex, or to slide part A into orifice B.
I think that's clear enough, Blondie. You can stop now.
You mean like you stopped talking when I asked you to back off when we've started this ridiculous conversation?
Point taken.
Do you have any questions, Spark?
What she's saying is dancing on the wild side will make the prince thirsty, and if he drinks your blood, which as a tick he is wont to do, he could get a really bad tummy ache.
Or die.
Blondie.
Has the prince talked to you about any of this?
He asked you what?
I'm curious about that too. What are the mating rituals of demons?
Well, that makes sense. You were pretty young when you left the demon realm.
Yeah, there aren't many demons here, and you've been actively avoiding them.
With good reason.
The truth is, it wouldn't matter anyway. You're part mage, and as we've learned firsthand, you can never be sure what will happen when interspecies mating occurs. Your blood could be deadly poison, or it could be an aphrodisiac to the prince, or anywhere in between.
The point is, it's best not to tempt him.
It's best to be aware of the dangers and for you two to come to a decision together.
Blondie, you're not helping matters any.
Back in my single days, when I needed to feed regularly, I found that I had a sixth sense about who would be safe to drink from and who wouldn't.
But the prince is wholly vampire. You were not. We can't know for sure that he has that sixth sense.
I think it's a fairly safe assumption. Rav and I have talked about it before. He has had it too, and he's wholly vampire, as you put it.
Changing the subject, why was the prince asking you about demon mating rituals?
You don't have to answer that, Spark. We aren't going to butt our way into your relationship with the prince. That would be wrong. We wouldn't want any outside interference in ours.
Outside interference? We are far from outsiders. This is Spark's first relationship. Well, who else are they gonna talk to?
Okay, fair enough. Spark, we're here for you. You can talk to us about anything you like. But we are not going to stick our noses in where they're not welcome.
Who says we're not welcome?
That sounded like butt out to me.
Yeah, but Spark said it much nicer than you did. Okay, Spark. will butt out now that you're aware of the danger.
Aware there may be a danger. Come in.
Good evening. I never needed to see that.
Stop grumbling. It's cute.
Cute is not the word I would have chosen. Please have a seat. We can't stay long. We have places to be.
Wow, that sounds very vague and secretive.
Does it? It wasn't meant to. And yet he fills in no more of the details.
We're budding out, remember?
A Monet exhibit? Yes, Renoir and other Impressionist artists' work will be shown as well. We've been looking forward to the opening of this exhibit for days now. I didn't know you liked to look at paintings, Spark. Not only do they enjoy looking at works of art, but they enjoy painting as well. I set up a studio in my home and we paint together.
That's wonderful, Spark. Will we get to see some of your work?
I'm sure you're very good. You can do anything you set your mind to. We really must go. I've arranged a special viewing.
Have fun, you two.
Be home early. Blondie worries when you're out late. She should know that I place Spark's safety above all else. I think they were serious about that art show stuff. What do you think?
I believe him.
Is it too much to hope that Spark is just his art buddy?
I certainly think so. Spark flew into his arms and kissed him soundly. I don't think they would have done that if he was simply a art buddy, as you put it.
You think the prince is gonna break Spark's heart?
I didn't say that. I think the prince is invested in this too. But vampires only have one mate. They can have flings until they find their mate that has been ordained by the fates. But the true love, fairy tale thing, that happens only once in our long, long life, if it happens at all.
You're telling me if the fates haven't ordained for the vampire prince to be mated to a dangerous demon mage, Spark is gonna get their heart broken?
I think that's why the prince was asking about demon mating rituals. I suspect he's wondering if demons have one true mate as well.
So the worst case scenario that I envisioned isn't the worst case scenario at all. The actual worst case scenario is the prince is mated to Spark, but Spark, being a demon and a mage, isn't capable of being his mate.
I didn't say that was the case. I just think that might be his fear, which means he's emotionally invested in his art buddy, which, when you think about it, is actually a good thing.
This whole mess has flipped from bad thing to good thing to bad thing to good thing so many times, I don't know where I'm at.
So everything is status quo.
You are such a brat. But that's okay, 'cause I like you, bratty. And I like the challenge of taming that unruly mouth of yours. Come here, Blondie. Let's see how much trouble you can get into tonight.